A responsible business is one that has a positive impact on the society and the environment in which it operates. It addresses the negative impacts that it might have on society, people, and the planet. Additionally, it builds trust and strengthens its relationship to its stakeholders on each level, which includes consumers, employees, investors, and the community it functions in. Hence, this generates greater value over time. Being socially responsible allows a company to improve its image and build the strong brand name. Similarly, a responsible business empowers its employees and boosts their morale and help them reach full potential, which leads to greater productivity in the workforce. On the contrary, there are many ways in which a business can be irresponsible. For instance, being racially discriminant. Racial discrimination is when a person is treated differently because of their skin color, racial or ethnic origin. Individuals can be discriminated in various ways. For example, by refusing to do business, socialize, or share resources with people of a certain group. Similarly, in 1999, a lawsuit was filed by African American employees against Coca-Cola in the US due to the fact that they were offered lower pay, less promotions, and given poor performance evaluations. A year and a half later, Coca-Cola agreed to the largest settlement ever in corporate racial discrimination case.
To begin with, the Coca-Cola Company is an American multinational organization established in 1892. It is recognized through its supply and production of carbonated drinks such as Coca-Cola and Sprite. Moreover, the Coca-Cola Company's base camps are located in Atlanta, Georgia. The beverage Coca-Cola started in 1886 by an Atlanta pharmacist named John S. Pemberton at his Pemberton Chemical Company. Frank Robinson, who was John's bookkeeper, had picked out the name for the beverage and wrote it in the streaming content that turned into the Coca-Cola brand name. At first, Pemberton promoted his beverage as a tonic for most normal illnesses, putting it together with cocaine from the coca leaf and caffeine-rich concentrates of the cola nut. However, the cocaine was eventually taken out from Coca-Cola's equation in around 1903, and Coca-Cola prospered under a good name. However, in 1999, a group of African Americans known as the Plaintiffs filed a lawsuit against the Coca-Cola Company on behalf of themselves and other individuals who were subjected to biased treatment. The lawsuit accused Coca-Cola of raising a corporate chain of importance where black people were at the bottom of the pay scale. Black workers were receiving a salary of around $26,000 a year less than white workers. For instance, Kimberly Gray Orton was a plaintiff who worked for Coca-Cola for 13 years and made less money than the white employees she supervised.
A level playing field is all that anyone can ask for. I'd like to amend that statement. I'd like it to say everyone deserves a level field of play and equal pay. For almost 14 years, I was a hardworking and dedicated employee of the Coca-Cola Company. I began my career in sales and ultimately left the company in October as a director in corporate marketing. I always believed that I was being fairly compensated for my work until the day I learned that I was making far less than the white employees that I supervised. Since that time, I've become extremely disappointed and disillusioned over the compensation that the Coca-Cola Company paid me and other African Americans. My enlightenment led me to become involved as one of 4 plaintiffs in a class action lawsuit against Coca-Cola.
The company came down to an agreement to pay roughly about $156 million to sort out the federal lawsuit.
The internal stakeholders who were involved in the lawsuit were the 4 plaintiffs, who were Motisola Maliha Abdullah, Gregory Allen Clark, Linda Ingram, Kimberly Gray Orton, and the defendant Coca-Cola Company. The external stakeholder included the District Judge Richard W. Story, the lawyer Pamela Kukis that represented the employees, and the minority consumers. Obviously, all actions have consequence. Hence, the Coca-Cola Company suffered the repercussions of their actions in both the long and short term. The short-term impact included the brutal media coverage of the case. Many of the news networks had viciously criticized Coca-Cola's unethical practices. Considering how a multinational company with diverse consumer base does not correspond with its values of diversity that it preaches. For instance, when one of the Coca-Cola officials visited China in the spring of 2000, the Chinese reporters hounded him about the company's racial problems, driving home the point that a global company operating in roughly 200 countries can ill afford to develop a reputation for intolerance.
After their lawsuit was made public, many of Coca-Cola's employees were protesting against the brand. Overall, the company endured a one-time charge worth $188 million in the quarter the lawsuit was settled in. Additionally, it became mandatory for Coca-Cola to operate under supervision of the panel consisting of 7 members. The long-term impact included the change of its management due to discord between the board of directors who wanted the case to be closed as soon as possible and the CEO at the time who was adamant on fighting the case. As a result, many of board of members quit and eventually in 2000 the CEO was changed due to his poor performance of handling the case. Furthermore, Coca-Cola's brand image was completely tarnished amongst its minority consumers who had officially boycotted the brand and switched to competitor brand Pepsi. As a result, Coca-Cola had to work extra hard to restore its perceived image towards its consumers. For instance, it donated $50 million to minority communities and schools. Coca-Cola had embraced the judge's decision to operate under the panel and saw it as an opportunity to improve themselves. Under the supervision of the panel, Coca-Cola had reflected on its unfair practices and taken the necessary steps to eliminate them. For instance, through mentoring and retaining, Coca-Cola had managed to increase minority representation at executive level from 8.4% to 21%. To further ensure that the minority workers were aware of the opportunities for them, Coca-Cola had used various strategies. For instance, agreements with approximately 50 Hispanic job boards that would make sure that the minority community were informed about the openings in Coca-Cola. It also made a policy to hire a certain percentage of minority at each level of employment. Similarly, Coca-Cola had established a telephone hotline to aid employees to reach out to the company in case they faced racial discrimination at workplace.
Ultimately, the panel dissolved 5 years after the lawsuit in 2006, with its final report stating that the mission was a success and Coca-Cola had made significant progress in providing equality at workplace. However, after the lawsuit was settled, there was a protest in 2002, demanding the workplace equality that was promised when settling the discrimination lawsuit in 1999. Likewise, there were many filed lawsuits regarding discrimination in workplace against Coca-Cola Company, with the latest one being in 2017. In conclusion, Coca-Cola was immensely impacted by the lawsuit with regards to agreeing the terms of the settlement, as well as the tremendous effort Coca-Cola had to put in to fill the rift between them and the diverse consumer base created due to it. The lawsuit had also made Coca-Cola realize the error of their ways and managed to diverse their workplace under the panel's supervision, even though Coca-Cola had made the necessary changes to promote equality in their organization. Many of the Black employees were and are still struggling for equality.